under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Duff,
Here.
Newman,
Here.
Jeremini,
Here.
Wozniacki,
Here.
Nutt,
Here.
Rayborn, O'Brien.
Here. No additions?
No additions to the agenda tonight. We do have one item we'd like to have pulled. It's item 10B, the service awards. We were going to recognize Officers Dennis and Keller tonight, but after I posted the agenda, we found out that both officers had conflicts tonight, so we're going to hold that over. So,
Motion to approve agenda and pull 10B.
second?
Motion by Duff, second by Bill. Brian? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. On to correspondence and information. We have Oakland County student loan debt. People's Express apologizing for their interruption and lack in service. Mr. Daly had a concern, correspondence, and then Comcast. Paul? Last one is,
Of course, they're not going to give you money back.
this last one. Was it? Yeah. Yeah, Consumers Energy.
Motion to receive and file as presented.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. First call to public. It's an opportunity for citizens to address the council on agenda items only. Okay, don't see any. Consideration approving the consent agenda.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. Roll call.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Nutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Rayborn, Newman,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Wozniacki.
Yes.
No. Board appointments, we don't have any this time around. So, presentations. Random with the audit presentation.
Rain Emmons is here with us tonight. So.
Hello, my name is Raina Emmons. I'm a partner with PSLZ. It's my pleasure to be here this evening and present to you the village's annual audited financial statements for your fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see some new faces, so welcome to our new members of the council. I'm going to start out with a few highlights, and then if anyone has any questions, feel free to jump in, or I'll leave time at the end. And that can keep us here all night as well. A few highlights. The village did receive the highest level of audit opinion possible, which is an unmodified opinion. That, in layman's terms, that's a clean audit opinion, no exceptions, disclaimers, nothing bad to report this evening. So we'll start off with that. Property taxes, your largest source of revenue, up about 8.3% this year. This is a pretty significant increase. Of course, you know, 5% of that is assessments went up. But that, some of the, the additional would be if people had additions, improvements to their homes, or if they are building new homes, or things become uncapped when they sell their house. So that's a really nice increase. Obviously, you didn't raise your millage rate. You've kept that very stable. So that's all taxable value, which is good for everyone. Nice to see that. State shared revenue, however, on the other hand, is flat from the prior year. The state is not projecting any significant increases for fiscal year '25 as well. They're saying 1% to 2% for next year. That, of course, is sales tax and income tax that the state collects and distributes down to the local units. So we're not looking for anything major there next year. But the story really is interest earnings. We had a nice, significant increase with that, and our treasurer's doing a really nice job investing the money in safe investments, but you're taking advantage of the short-term interest rates, and it really moved the needle this year, so nice job there. We ended up using $131,870 from the general fund balance. You had projected to dip into the fund balance about $200,000 this year, but there are a few capital projects fell into the next fiscal year. So we didn't use all of that, but we did use up some of the fund balance. Ending fund balance of $2.9 million. The building permits and licenses, I usually like to report on the revenues on that, just to give you an idea of the activity here in the village. I know you see it, but dollar-wise, it was about $55,000 this year in this audit, and the year before was about $61,000. So a slight decrease on the building permit revenues. Your operating expenditures are very consistent from year to year. If I go back 3 or 4 years, the increase is pretty much all police department and, staffing, that type of thing. That seems to be it's one of your largest expenditures anyway, but everything else you've kept very consistent. You also had quite a bit of capital expenditures this year, so you got a lot of things done, including road improvements. So this is the start of the 2024 road projects, and a lot of that has fallen into the next fiscal year. So we'll be reporting on that next year. But in this audit, we have like $525,000 of road project. We have the Clara Miller Park, so you did a lot of park improvements, DPW roof, you bought a Kubota tractor. So all in, it's over $1 million in capital projects this year. So you got a lot of things done, and a lot of good things. Water and sewer fund, nothing major to report there. You paid down $167,000 in principal this year on the debt. You have two special assessment district bonds left, and one drinking water revolving fund bond through the state. So three bond issues outstanding, 2 of which are going to be paid off in 2028. So that's coming up. In the prior year, you paid off an additional 2013 special assessment bond. So we're whittling it down. It won't be long before a lot of that goes away. Lastly, significantly, we always report on the pension liability. The net pension liability actually decreased this year, which, of course, we like to see that direction. Last year, it increased significantly because we had a significant net investment loss in the pension trust. That, of course, is through MERS, the state pension system, and they value your investments as of December 31st each year. So last year, we were looking at the 12/31/22 stock market, which was a bad day in the stock market. So we showed, even though we made it up during the year, but on that date, we had to report a loss in the audit. So this year, we're reporting on 12/31/23, a much better day in the stock market. So we had net investment gain in the pension trust of $365,000. So that definitely helped with our pension liability. The pension liability in total, the one the actuaries come up with the number of the total liability, that actually went up to $288,000, but your assets far exceeded that. Your assets went up $522,000. So net of all that, we actually went in a positive direction in the pension plan. You have been making extra employer contributions voluntary to the pension plan to try and catch up on some of that liability. You are in year 9 of that. You've been putting $100,000 a year over 10 years. So this audit is year 9 of that. You are at 75.2% funded. And last year, again, we took a dip in that in the funding. It was 68%. We're back up again to 75% and hopefully climbing. You also have a net other post-retiree healthcare benefits plan. Again, actuarially, they report on it for us, tell us what they estimate what our liability is. But your overall net OPEB liability decreased $18,000 this year, totaling $203,000 is your net liability on that. So with that, that's a lot of numbers. if I can answer any questions, I'm happy to do that this evening.
When it comes to state shared revenue, over the long term, is there anything the state's considering to improve that? Especially considering how little it's really changed relative to '08 and things like that?
There is momentum currently for something called the state revenue sharing trust fund, so that they can build up some money, so that when in the downturns, the local units don't get hit. I mean, you're using that money to pay for your public safety, most communities, it's, police, fire. And so when you take a hit like that, for some communities, state revenue sharing is a very big part of their budget. So taking a hit, so that's what they've been doing lately, is you've just been taking the hit on that. It hasn't been adopted yet. They're still with this whole lame duck legislature thing. I don't know if that's going to pass, but they are talking about it. And hopefully something like that comes through. Because I feel like they're sitting on money up at the state, and they could be utilizing it toward the local units a little better for that.
Raina, any thoughts on the idea of going forward, maybe not for another 10 years, but continuing the voluntary contribution in terms of the pension liability?
Well, 75% is a nice number, but it could be better. And the sooner we are able to make those contributions, so it's really, that's really the ideal way, a lump sum contribution and being consistent with it. $100,000, I really feel like over 10 years really moved the needle on that. But I think you'd be feeling better if you were over 80% in that realm, not down at 75%. You could, go. We went down to, what did I say, 68, 69% last year, taking a hit just on the investments. So, it's a moving target, but I think you'd feel better at 80% funding range or above. So I don't know if you need to go 10 years, but I think you should probably consider it in the next few, let's say the next 2 or 3 year budgets cycles, if it's a priority for council.
And then, Raina, since the last time you were here, there's been a lot of discussion here at council meetings about the level of the general fund balance that the village has. I mean, you do this kind of work for a number of communities all over southeastern Michigan. You're familiar with the village. You've done this work for us for a number of years. Do you have any thoughts or feelings about where we're at in terms of our fund balance, in terms of what the village's potential obligations are?
Sure. You're right. So I do work with many communities that are your size, and this is not an unusually large fund balance. We've lived through a lot of things. We lived through that 2008 downturn. We didn't know how long that was going to go and how deep that was going to go. And we had to climb out of it. Remember what it did to our assessments. COVID, I mean, these things that we couldn't even think about, like we could not have conceived, 10 years ago. And we don't know what's next. So you're able to weather the storms this way, but also, what I just mentioned, you've done a lot of nice things with your capital improvements. I know in fact, your road improvement projects, like I said, are continuing into fiscal year 25. That takes a lot of money. That's not something that, it has taken you this long to build this up. I would hate for you to whittle this down and, have nothing to show for it. So, I know the residents, these capital improvements, it's the parks, look at the great things you've done with the parks here. That took some money as well, and you're using grant money when you can. So you're taking advantage of that as well. We have the American Rescue Plan dollars. So altogether, you're getting a lot done, using some outside money, using some inside money. It's not like we're just sitting on a bunch of fund balance, but you do need the stability to be able, like I said, to weather the storm, or we don't know what's coming. And remember, our interest earnings are temporary. Like right now, great, it's great. We love to see it. We don't know how long that's going to last. And also we don't know how long property tax values are gonna go up like this. You know, the last couple of years, it's been an easy 5%, but most of the time, you know, over the years I've been reporting, it's been like 1 to 2%. So we don't know how long this 5% thing is gonna stay. So that's gonna impact fund balance pretty quickly, even those two things, interest earnings and property tax values.
So in your opinion, it's not overfunded, or it's not,
Correct.
So as a percentage, because that's one of the questions that everybody has, as a percentage of total revenue of the general fund why is there a consensus as to what that percentage?
So there
From an
used
optics
to be, you know,
standpoint.
people would throw out, 25%, something like that. But if you quantify what 25% is to the village, you're not gonna sleep well at night. That's a couple $100,000. That's what we're talking about leaving your fund balance at. I mean, when we quantify that, it doesn't, and then, of course, it depends. It depends on, do you have other capital projects that you're planning on getting accomplished? And also, I mean, every time you buy, any kind of vehicle, whether it's, police vehicle, DPW has some big, equipment, those things wear out, we have to have we have to be ready for that. So that's what the fund balance does. We don't have to finance, we're not running around trying to finance at 8% interest on things. And you're able to, when things, and believe me, everyone's pretty frugal around here. So it's not like we're running around, buying dump trucks every other year. You save up, you plan for it, you do a nice job with budgeting, you do a nice job of monitoring your expenses from month to month. It's to me, it's just, you're right where you need to be.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thoughts? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see everyone this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rena.
That's great. Skipping B. Andy. New Department, Public Works. Andy. Labor.
I'd like to introduce council to our newest member of the DPW here, Blake Higgins.
Hi, Blake. Welcome.
Sure.
Hey, long time no see.
Congratulations, Blake.
Welcome, Blake.
Thank you.
Blake, as long as you're on your feet, if you could just stay up here by the podium, please.
Yeah, we can make differences.
I think everybody knows we had a retirement at the end of the year in the DPW, and when we learned there was going to be a vacancy, we posted. We had 4 good applicants for the position. Andy and I interviewed all 4 of them, but there was one in particular that stood out above the others, and that was Blake right here. So we were very happy when we made the offer and Blake agreed to take the job here. We're very happy to have him with us here at the village.
Thank you, I'm happy to be here.
And Blake, if you could, if I get you to raise your right hand and then repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties of
the duties of
the office of
the office of
maintenance laborer in the Department of Public Works
maintenance laborer in the Department of Public Works
in and for the village of Wolverine Lake,
and for the village of Wolverine Lake,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Blake, looks like you may have some family member or friends. Anybody you want to introduce to
This
council?
is my grandpa. Everyone, that's my grandma. That's my other grandma.
Congratulations. Congrats.
Since past.
On to recommendations and updates. Wow.
Yes, thank you, council. I thought at this time I'd be able to provide you with 2 or 3 additional contractors to do the earthwork out at the park. Unfortunately, when the request went out, it was just before Christmas, and through Christmas and New Year, they all got back to me and said, we'd still like to do it, but we need a little more time. So the holidays prevented me from doing that. We have 3 contractors that are still interested. The main contractor, Russo Excavating, has still said that he wants to do it. He still has all of his equipment, and this spring, he'd still like to do it. So worst case scenario, we'll have to wait until spring and have Russo Excavating do it. But I still expect to have some bids for you next month to be able to present. But otherwise, I don't have any bids for you today for that project. The only other item that I'd like to kind of inform council on is that we have had 2 requests for grinder pumps to be installed, one on Del Monte, and that will be done in the next couple weeks. The one that's most interesting to us all is the Glengarry Inn, however. And if you've been by there, you've seen that they've done their outside plumbing. They've connected the restroom facilities around to the kitchen area around back of the building. They've set the grinder pump. The owners have agreed to put the duplex pump in so that if one pump goes bad, while that one's being repaired, they're still in operation, and they have another pump that's operating their system. So everything on site now has been done, and they are getting ready to put the connection line in down Woodlawn. It'll go right underneath their drive on Woodlawn and connect to the sanitary sewer on the north side of Glengarry Road. They expect that to be done in the next couple days, so they're really looking to get open here in the next week, week and a half or so. So we're looking forward to that. So if you have any questions or anything, I can certainly try to address them. Thank you, council. Yes.
We have no public hearings.
Correct.
Correct. New business, Claremont Park security camera.
As indicated in the memo in your packet, the primary security camera out at Claire Miller Park needs to be replaced. Rather than just automatically replaced with the same kind of a camera, to his credit, Chief Sovic did some homework and looked at all the different alternatives in terms of the types of cameras that could be replaced. Using EOS, which is the company that put the cameras in originally. We also looked at the possibility of putting another flock camera in. You recall, these are the 2 cameras that the village had purchased earlier that have the license plate recognition capacity, but in talking more with the chief, and I think he thought through it and maybe talked to some of his staff, I think the conclusion was that we really didn't need to pay the extra for a flock camera. So the recommendation from the chief is that we replace the defective camera with the camera in the lower of the 2 quotes from EOS, the bullet camera, at a cost of $949. So, Chief, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that or not.
I just think it's a better option. I mean, as far as the flock is a much more expensive camera. It's going to give us a hit if there's a wanted vehicle or a wanted plate, but I think for cost effectiveness, I think to go into this cheaper camera, this system stores everything on its system for like 5 months. And so we're going to put it a little bit lower to get license plates and vehicles going in and people coming out. So it's just to better the options and a less expensive option, which I think is going to serve us well in the long run.
I'll make
Does
a
it
motion.
have the same vicinity capability as the other one, or better, or?
As far as, it's going to be the same as all the other cameras, you can zoom in and zoom back. It doesn't have the capabilities of like the pan, tilt, and zoom of the one that we're replacing, but we have another camera already up there that's basically, it's the same thing. So if you look at these 2 cameras, they're almost the same thing. The capabilities of the one is a little bit better, and that's the one that's broken, and it's the one that's more expensive. I think we can, with the capabilities that the cameras have to zoom and focus and move, I think we're going to be just fine with this lesser expensive option.
I'll make a motion that we approve the replacement of the camera with a bullet camera as presented, not to exceed $949.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. We already had a discussion, so roll call.
Bignar?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Wozniacki?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Thank you, Chief. Brings us to the second call to public. Opportunity for citizens to address council regarding village business. Motion open.
Okay.
Motion open.
Motion to open.
Second.
Dave Labor, 2335 Lincoln. Last meeting, the water team showed you folks how many boats we have in the lake. And I'd like to show you how we got so many boats. We have 543 boats in the lake. And there are parameters of the state as to how many could be in the lake. And I'll show you how we came from boats that were just right size for this lake, and then all of a sudden they boom. This is, when I moved to the community, I built a little deck there. The people, let's see here. Hold on. The people across the street, across the canal, which is Tampa Shores, right here, they came over and said, David, you can't put a dock there for your boat because I have riparian rights. At that time, I didn't know what riparian rights were. So the police chief was going by, and he said, how are you doing, David? Fine. Can I ask you a question? Can you tell me what riparian rights are? And he tells me. I said, I want to put a dock in there, but they tell me I can't do it. He came out to me and said, David, they're right. Well, guess what I did? I stopped. That's how you build neighbors. I'm passing out a little package, and the picture of this package is this area. And the reason you're seeing no boats along here is because these people stopped anybody along here to put boats. Otherwise, you wouldn't have such a beautiful view from your place. Okay? The next one, I wanted to show you the riparian rights picture. And on that one, it tells you that riparian rights owners as to the waterfront and exposed bottom. Basically, from your property, if that easement goes underwater, that goes to your property. Not everybody has riparian rights. So if you put a dock in the lake and it's not, you don't have riparian rights, according to state law, you gotta get rid of it. They can't, anybody can't transfer it to you. So, that's kind of critical. And of course, we had 353 pontoons, 130 ski boats, and 46 jet skis. Hold on. Okay, this picture shows, and this is a document you folks send to everybody that has a ZBA. This is the park we've been arguing about for 20-some years. As you can see, this 2301 doesn't have any riparian rights, okay? And we've had 7 homeowners, and the last 2 are the ones that broke the rules. Everybody else did not do that. I would say if this is not accurate, we better correct it because a lot of ZBA are using this form to make decisions.
Mr. Lieberman, you got about 30 seconds.
Pardon me?
You have about 30 seconds.
This is another view. Now, part of this is the last two owners have been digging the property so they can get waterfront. So, here's the land, and he applied for a permit and was denied. Guess what he did? He ignored it. And he was a councilman, and all the councilmen, that's what it looks like in the summertime. I could look over there, and it was just like your place, David. Now I got that. This right here, fella, doesn't even belong to Shaken Park. He belongs to Salado, and he's parking it there. These are the park owners, but they don't have permits. They have year-round. If you have a dock in the water all year round, you need a permit. Otherwise, you gotta pull it out. When they talk about seasonal docks, we go, put it in, take them out in the fall. Now, when I got to be chairman of the Water Management Board, I asked everybody,
Point of order, Mr. President.
Yes.
This is
can I
beyond
have
5
2 more
minutes.
minutes on this? It's kind of important.
What's consensus for another minute?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to extend it 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Second? Motion by second by Newman. To extend 2 more minutes?
I'm sorry?
2 more minutes?
Well, I got a presentation just like the high school fellow that we told him to cut her off after 5 minutes. Okay, from my house, when I look at the lake, an area that we sit by the garden, this is what I look at the boat. It really gets good, I think. Now, it's wintertime. Guess what? You usually take the boat out. He's using the park as a storage area. Now, this is kind of unfair to the chief, but I kind of wanted to find out, not you, George. I wanted to know why he was not enforcing the law. What I found out was the gentleman that's making all the rules gave walkie-talkies to the police department. In return, he gets about $2,000 or $3,000 a year on parking his boat on the park. And Chief George, this is from the minutes, stated if the boat are not docked on a lot that they do not own, then he can issue a ticket. He didn't issue any tickets. At that time, we had about 10, 15 people.
One minute left, Mr. Lieberman.
Now, we also got Chief Powers from DQ. He helped me a lot for when we put chemicals in the lake and also with the dropping the lake to get the stumps out. I talked to him and he helped me out a little bit. And according to this, they sent him a violation. You send us a survey that you belong there, or we're going to, unfortunately, their manpower could not do that, or our police chief could have done that.
Mr. Laborn, your extra 2 minutes are actually up.
Okay, here's the,
Mr. Laborn,
one of the park owners,
your 2 minutes
Send a
extra,
letter to
your
the
2 minutes
chief.
extra are up.
there's a chief
Mr.
and
Laborn.
the administrator, and they didn't do anything about it. The only question I have for you is,
Point of order, Mr. President, motion to close to the public.
Mr. Laborn, your extra
Okay.
2 minutes are up. So thank you.
I'll come back next month.
Thank you. I don't see any other motion to close? Motion to close, is that second? Motion by Dove, second by Newman, to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, set topics for the January 22nd, 2025 work session.
We don't have anything to discuss at the work session. I guess my recommendation to council is that we forego the January
Motion
work
to forego?
session.
Who had the second? Motion by Dove, second by Bill? Oh, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
At the same time, I would state to council that we should plan on having a work session in February then. We'll have our traditional goal-setting, long-range planning.
Yep.
So, mark the second Wednesday in February, the fourth Wednesday in February on your calendars, because we will have some business to take care of that night. So,
I will be in Nevada that week. Visiting my son.
okay, thank you.
Guess we'll let you go.
No, Nevada, North Falls, please.
Okay.
See the 26th, right?
Still calling my-
That's correct. It'll be February 26th.
The last one.
Okay, pending business. So some council committee assignments.
Council, I put this on the agenda just to give you an update. If you recall at our last meeting, in the process of making the various assignments to the boards and committees here at the village, there were a couple that we left hanging out there. The first was SEMCOG. There was a question as to whether or not an employee could be the delegate to SEMCOG, or whether it needed to be an elected official. And I believe it was Mr. Duff, thank you, Mr. Duff, reached out to SEMCOG the following day. The information we received from SEMCOG was that the actual delegate to the General Assembly does need to be an elected official of the village. The alternate can be an employee, because I know Ms. Hanson had expressed an interest in potentially serving as the alternate, but the actual delegate would need to be a member of the village council. And I also attached a little bit of background information about the General Assembly meetings that SEMCOG has had. The minutes from the October 24th meeting, the last one they had, as I understand, is indicated in the general information. They meet 3 times a year at locations throughout the region and conduct a variety of business, and it's only the delegates and/or the alternates that are allowed to cast a vote on behalf of the communities at the General Assembly meetings. So if there's anyone that's interested in stepping up, now would be the time to step forward, I suppose.
I can do that one.
I was gonna ask, when do they generally meet? I know you said 3 times a year, but is there a special day or time of the month that they meet, do you know?
I mean, it appears that they meet towards the end of the months. The location does vary. It just so happened that the October meeting was over in Novi, but I think generally it's in the Detroit metropolitan area somewhere that they are meeting. The other comment I would make too is that in looking at the minutes from the October meeting, I didn't include the other maybe 5 pages or so, which was a list of attendance at the meeting, because the way that the attendance was reported is SEMCOG showed a list of all of the delegates and all of the alternates, and then they bold the individuals that are there, and the individuals that are not there remain in normal type. So suffice it to say that there were a lot of people that were not at the October meeting in Novi. So I don't think this is a group, I mean, I'm sure they're happy to have as many people as they can get for any of the General Assembly meetings, but if you have a conflict and you're not able to be there, chances are very good you're not the only one that's not going to be there.
And can I just say one thing about SEMCOG is their training classes are really, really good. And the building where they're located, it's a really nice building. They have parking right there, and usually they, what is that thing when they make your parking so you don't have to pay for it?
They validate.
Validate.
Yeah, they validate the parking, and it's right against Campus Martius. There's food trucks out there, and it's a nice day in Detroit, really, when you go to SEMCOG. So it's a great building that it's in, and I've been there a few times, and I've had a good time every time I've gone. It's been interesting. They have so much information, all relating to what our neighbors are doing and all that stuff, and environmental information, all kinds of things. So it's a really good organization.
So Mr. McNutt has indicated he would potentially be interested in serving as the delegate to the,
I would make a
To
motion that
SEMCOG?
we appoint Mr. McNutt as our SEMCOG rep, or delegate, sorry.
Second it.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. That's all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? What about an alternate?
Yeah, I would be happy to be the alternate.
Make a motion, make Jennifer Hansen the alternate delegate for SEMCOG.
I'll be happy to second that.
Newman, second by Duff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Jeff.
okay, and then the second assignment that we had somewhat hanging out there, I guess, had to do with Lakes Area Youth Assistance, Leah, and I did reach out and talk to the staff over at Leah and kind of indicated where we were at, that we had a couple council people that were interested in contributing and doing what they could to help out, and the message I got from Leah was that they were more than happy and actually grateful if the village wanted to take a more active role in terms of what was going on at Leah. They indicated that they have their monthly meetings, conveniently, I suppose, maybe the same day as we have our council meetings, but in the afternoon over at their offices off of 15 Mile, and relayed that information to Pam and to Aaron. And as I understand, they were both at the meeting today. And what was indicated to me over the telephone was that once that we have a representative that's been there for 3 meetings, then they can ask to be nominated to actually become a member of the board, or at least of the advisory board to Leah. So I don't know, having been there today, I don't know if either Pam or Aaron have anything to add, so.
Yeah, no, it was a really great opportunity. We certainly appreciated them welcoming us into their building.
Once we got in.
Once we figured out which door, 'cause it was
Which
not
door?
their door. I know which door was their door, but it wasn't their door.
Yeah.
But, no, it was a really great opportunity to learn a little bit more. They went through actually and spent probably more time than they
Yes,
initially
I think
thought they
so.
would on each different program that they have there and the resources that they're putting towards those different programs. So it was a really great opportunity for us to learn more about what Leah does and how they are able to fund all these different programs.
Were they able to send you an agenda ahead of time?
They did.
Okay, because, yeah, all right, good.
Excellent.
So I think that buttons up the appointments to the Lakes
Yeah.
Area Youth Assistance Board. We appreciate you guys stepping forward,
Yes,
too.
thank you.
So,
It's a good community organization. And thank you for being able to take those meetings. Timing of them is, can be difficult.
Yeah, Wednesdays at 12,
Yeah.
no problem with that.
All right, Chief Sullivan, update?
Okay, a couple things. I was going to say welcome to Blake if he was still here, but he wasn't. But just the fact that his whole crew is in here tonight with him, supporting him in his intro, just says a lot about the DPW and a lot about the people that we have here in this village, so welcome, Blake. Our lean audit, LEIN, Law Enforcement Information Network, our audit is February 26th. It's fairly extensive. It's the transmission and receiving of law enforcement critical information that we need to have it's kind of like our bloodline, our support. We need to have access to that. And there's a lot of physical restraints, there's a lot of physical barriers that we have to make sure are in place, as well as far as the physical structure of our building. People that come in, strangers that come in, and just our cleaning crew, our records people, they have to all go through security. Paige knows that. And so it is so Sergeant Marasco and I, along with our IT company, making sure everything is electronically safe. It's a fairly extensive audit. It's about 6 hours long. It's fairly significant, but without it, we probably couldn't exist as a police department, because that information is critical for us to be successful in doing our job. The locker room project is coming along. I have chosen a company. We had 4 people come in. I'll give you some more details when that happens. But I'll present a recommendation to you guys in February, and I think we're going to like the plan. Right now, the plans are with the building inspector, just to make sure everything is okay moving forward. So I'll have something for you in February. And one last thing is, received a nice letter from one of our citizens regarding the officers, Officer Crum's actions. I just want to read it to you real quick. It says, very last Sunday morning, my husband passed out. I panicked and dialed 911. After he became alert, asked me to cancel the run. I did so, however, your officers and the first responders still arrived, as I understand your protocol. My husband refused examination, and it took an extended amount of time for him to come out of the bathroom, so at least he could be viewed. He was very uncooperative, so to speak, but your officers and the first responders were extremely patient, professional, and just plain kind and understanding. And so I just wanted to let you guys know about that, you know, I think a lot of our officers are this way. I think I'm very proud, we should be very proud of the police department that we do have, because we have really, really good people here. And so when something like this comes along, I wish that we'd receive more letters like this, but I just wanted to recognize Officer Crum for his actions, and just wanted to share that with you. But we have a great police department. I love the people that I work with, and I'm happy to be here working with them all, and you. So, and that is all I had, Mr. President.
First of all, I just want to thank Rena for all the work she does for us that you guys don't see. She helps me a lot, and I can call her with anything, and she always helps me get out of something I don't get or don't understand, and I'm just so thankful to have her as our auditor. And I want to thank or welcome Blake as well. I got to spend about an hour and a half with his onboarding stuff, and he's a great kid. He's got a great personality. All of you are going to love him. You'll see him around the village a lot, and you will love him. And let's see, we're doing all of our year-end things, our tax forms and all of our all that stuff. So it's been busy upstairs with the year-end. And then the year beginning and getting out the W-2s and all that other stuff. It's been busy, but it should start to slow down pretty soon. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Gilmore.
And just to echo, yeah, we're very happy to have Blake as part of the team here at the village. And as I indicated when we did the interviews, it was real clear that Blake was the guy that we wanted to get. We're very happy to have him. And I'd like to think that he's going to be a valuable village employee for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
also, again, Andy's not here anymore, but just to shout out to Andy, because today was his birthday, too. And not that he didn't want to be here with us tonight, but I think there are probably some other places that Andy could have been here. But again, we appreciate him coming in, and again, the good work that he's doing in the DPW. And again, I echo the chief's comments, the fact that Todd Smalley and John Branningham were here tonight, too. I think that's a reflection on Andy, number one, and also on Blake, number two. So we've got a good group in the police department. We've got a good group in the DPW. So, and the group upstairs, they make me look good every day, and I appreciate that. So, just a reminder to those of you on the admin committee, we do have a meeting after the regular meeting is over tonight. Shouldn't take too long, but we do have a meeting. And then just, it's that time of year again, so next month's agenda will include a closed session for council to conduct my annual performance review. So I will be getting the review forms to Council President McNutt so he can distribute those to all of you So if you could get those back to Mike in a timely fashion, so he can compile the results, so we can have a productive discussion next month. That's all I've got. Happy New Year to everyone.
Council comments, and no offense, gentlemen, but we'll start with the ladies.
Thank you. Just to follow up a little bit, with Aaron and I went to Leah today. There are 8 different, subcommittees that they support from adopting a child to, not if you don't adopt a child, but pseudo-adopt a child, you help them out with a holiday Christmas, but 8 different programs that they support. And they do a Shop with a Cop Hero. Is that
Mhm.
something that we're involved in?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
Yep.
They weren't really,
I think because maybe it's partnering with the FOP and
Yes.
Oakland County
Yeah.
Sheriff. They
Yeah.
mentioned those 2 names, just not
Yeah.
specific entities
well,
in
they
the area.
mentioned Wixom.
It takes place at the Wixom Meyer.
Yeah, oh, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but quite a few people. I was surprised how big the board was, but they took quite a bit of time for Aaron and I, and they described the different subcommittees and what they do, and they had 181 cases last year, which I thought was a lot, personally, for this area. I guess, we all tend to live in a bubble, of our group of friends, our neighborhoods, our work group, and you kind of forget there's a whole subset of people out there that really have some problems, difficult problems. The caseworker, I don't know, Stacy or Cece? Yeah.
Stacy.
Said there was quite a rise in violent crimes. And they said, a lot of it could start with parents arguing, with each other. Kids see this as a bad role model, but then they're doing it, and then those, things on TV and stuff. But and I was aghast to hear all that. I mean, I just, like I said, not that I shelter myself intentionally, but I think that's just typical of us in our lives. So I'm really excited about working with them, so I think it's going to be good. So other than that, just Happy New Year to everybody, and stay warm.
So I'll just pivot off of what you'd mentioned already with Leah. Stacy, our caseworker at Leah, mentioned that she knows you, Chief Sovic,
Yes.
a little bit. And she also mentioned that she has not had any referrals from our Wolverine Lake Police Department, and she would like to have referrals if that was a warranted response to some of the different interactions we're having in the community. So she's offered to partner with you and offer some training to our officers as far as what services are available. So I know that you know her, so you could connect with her and see what that
Sure.
might entail. But I thought it was a great opportunity to further partner with them.
Just to know, we don't have very much juvenile crime here.
Sure.
When there's an opportunity to forward them to youth assistance as opposed to getting them to court in trouble, we take that option.
Yeah.
We have very, very
Perfect.
few juvenile incidents.
She mentioned things even like curfew issues. I mean, things before you even get to like a juvenile
Right.
issue. So
Yeah, non-status offenses, non-criminal,
Yeah,
yep.
So
Sure.
just wanted to.
I will look in, thank you.
Yes. And again, I know she knows you, so
Okay.
she said I could mention that to you.
Gotcha, thanks.
And then I'm looking forward to my newly elected official training here in January 23rd. So thanks to Dave for setting that up for me.
Just to follow up that, and Aaron, I did trade some more emails with the staff at the MML this afternoon. They have officially
Okay.
revised the date.
Perfect.
Originally, we're going to do one of the
Virtual.
virtual, now you're going
Yes.
to, so, and we've worked out the payments, you'll be all set to go.
Amazing. Thank
So,
you.
sure.
Appreciate it. That's all I got.
Always good to see you guys. Great thing. I'm glad to hear that audit turned out really well. Now we're in a good, solid position moving forward in the future. But, there's a lot of hard work being done by everyone all around to make sure that happens. So thank you, everyone. Let's stay safe, stay warm out there, and see you guys next month.
Bill?
Just wish everybody a healthy and safe and warm month. Till next time.
Raina, thank you for the audit. Looks good. Welcome, Blake. Stay safe. Anybody that likes to ice fish, the ice is not exactly safe yet, and there's really no such thing as safe ice, so be safe, be careful. And then, if everybody could keep the people in California in their thoughts and prayers. A lot of forest fires out there that are really just devastating people, so that's it.
Welcome to Blake. As people mentioned, having all the DPW workers showing up says a lot about Andy and about Blake himself. And we see that wherever we have
Mark,
something
we
with
can't hear you.
our police officers as well, how their other officers show up to support them. And it really reflects on the leadership and on the kind of people that we hire. Thank you to Raina for the audit and the passing grade, and Jen for all your work on it as well. I know that always is kind of be a fun time. And there is a blood drive coming up on February 10th. University has asked us to try and do 6 this year, which is about the max you can do. They're really pleased with our results so far, so we're going to give that a shot this year and see if we can do that. So again, the first one is February 10th. That's a Monday from 2 to 6:30. And Happy New Year.
Is there any opportunity to change the time or date on those, where it goes a little later or anything else?
We could change the dates for the later ones, yeah.
Okay.
We're locked in for this one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But just opportunities, maybe in the evening.
Yeah, I can see if they could go
More
later.
or-
Yeah.
Potential.
Yeah, I can talk to them about that.
Welcome, Blake, even though he's not here. And happy birthday, Andy Stone, even though he's not here. And Brandon, thank you for the audit, and Jen's work on that really shows and the response to her efforts. So thank you both.
Yeah, could I just say one thing about the investments?
Mhm.
That I did not reinvent any wheels. That was Mike Conduct who set us up in those accounts, and I know a good thing when I see it, so I stay with it.
Sometimes that's the important
So,
part.
yeah.
Yes, no one wants to see a good thing. So thank you. It's nice to hear the good results and the good grades and the information on the general fund also, very helpful. So,
Yeah, good to hear that we don't have an overabundance of savings.
we're doing things right.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Duffs.
Second.
Second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
To a